It is very, very much different in its handling characteristics from the AAV, whereas the AAV was 29 tons of aluminum. This thing is 61 tons of hardened steel and Chalbam armor mix. It's very heavy. It also has a unique propulsion system in that it is driven by a turbine engine in the back. It provides quite a lot of thrust to the thing, but it also takes quite a while to spool up and get running. So, my mic. Yeah. Anyway, so one of the things with this is that we do not turn off the engine while we're in a combat zone unless absolutely necessary for fuel conservation or some other reason, because it takes like 30 seconds to spool up, and it is very important that we maintain our ability to maneuver, which we completely lose if we do so. I won't really go into detail about weapon systems right now. We'll do that on the range part of that. I'll jump in as driver if Exley and Burton, you guys hop in the turret somewhere. Everybody else can go wherever they want to go.
Taylor, could you check your PMs real quick? I want to send you a message.
I'm sorry, what?
Can you just check your PMs real quick? I want to send you a message.
A PM?
Yeah, Discord.
Okay.
My bad. I gotcha.
Yeah, I was just wondering what I was wondering.
Try again. Cool. Okay. So, as you'll see, I'm now spooling the engine. It's going to take a little while to go. And during that time, we are basically a stationary emplacement, which is not a great thing if you're trying to avoid tank fire. Louder. Another useful thing that I've done here is, as I've turned out as the driver, you would notice if you were in the gunner seat that you would not be able to. Roger. You will notice that the me turning out as the driver forces the turret into a forward orientation and raises the barrel slightly. This is very useful for navigating around friendly held areas where we have our friendly troops, or areas with very tight clearance where we can't afford to have the turret slapping to one side or the other and bumping into something. As you may be aware, the #1 way to lose one of these tanks is to have the back of the turret tap a tree that you happen to be driving by, because ArmA will decide that's a collision between two stationary objects, not have any idea what the fuck to do with it, and send the tank rocketing away at about 600 miles an hour. So we tend to be very careful about that, and even if we're under light fire, I can still do this, turn out in this way, and I'm relatively protected down here while allowing us to clear very narrow passageways and things like that. So it's a helpful tool, and you'll hear commands for driver to turn out or turn in. If you're not familiar, the default keybinds for turn out, turn in are Control E and Control Q. Alright, so let me take you around this course real quick. This is a tank driver's course. It is a very different beast from the AAV driver's course because it is all about momentum. This thing is a giant beast. And it really likes to keep going once it's going, and it likes to stay stopped once it's stopped. So a lot of this course is just based around going smoothly, doing smooth control of what you're doing and anticipating what you're doing so that you can control it and keep your speed up to some degree. I hit that really badly. And that really badly. Sorry. You're supposed to hit that straight on. I had like a weird jig thing happen, and I lost track of that. But it's important with things like this. You'll notice fuck me. What is wrong with my game? Like when I push the arrow keys, they're doing 3 times as long as I want. you're going over obstacles like this, you'll see that we're getting slowed down by them, but if you keep speed up, the suspension helps sort of rock you over the top of them and helps you go faster. So there is not a point in this thing where you're doing these faster obstacles where you should be slowing down at all. It's all about keeping momentum.
Roger.
God fucking it. Hello, A and D, what's wrong with you? There we go. Strange. You'll see the little arrow boards there to help you guide along where there's turns. I know they're really small, but you gotta live with it. And there's chicane. This is one of the few moments where going slower is a good idea. I always hit that one. It's just me. This is all about power off turning. As you learn with the AAV, the amount of power that you apply determines how much you can turn, because your drivetrain is also your turning mechanism. So that's all about basically coasting through it and doing it with power off. And I know it doesn't make too much difference with the AAV, but with the tank there's a significant difference between just regular driving forward and the so-called echo speed, holding down shift while you're driving forward. That will actually make you go significantly faster with the tank. Don't forget that when you're doing this. And water obstacles. So these teach you a couple things. Number one, water likes to slow the tank down, but you can kind of power through it okay. And the other thing is hills. Anything like this, there's a tendency that a lot of people have where they think they can kind of like shimmy up a hill by grabbing perches with one side or the other, like this. I'll do it. Doing that. However, like I said, your drivetrain is also your turning mechanism. So the only way that you can apply a turn, like you've got both tracks going as far, you know, they're going as fast as they possibly can forward. They're putting as much effort forward as possible, and then you want to turn. The only way that you can do that is by dragging one of the tracks. So if you try to turn while you're going up a hill or you're trying to go faster, you're only going to slow yourself down. The best thing to do with hills is to find an angle that seems to work for you and stick with it. Even if it seems like it's slow as fuck. And this next obstacle shows you what a little bit too deep of water looks like. You'll see as we go through it, the water comes up a little bit higher, and it will actually swamp the engine a little bit. If we stayed in that longer, or we went through slightly deeper water, then we could damage or destroy our engine, and then we would be basically stranded in a puddle, which is a bit disappointing. So that's kind of just a teaching point thing there to show you what that looks like as you go through it, so that you're better aware for the future.
Gotcha.
And then it's just out around the rest of the course until you're out the back of it. Not my best time, because I'm steering like a paraplegic mammoth, but that's okay. Alright, cool. So, I'm going to, real quick, I'm going to fix the track so that we don't have an issue with the engine when we go through that the second time. Damage. Now, second, most importantly, it's rare that we'll have 4 actual people in the track like this in a tank. However, If you do, and you're the driver and you need to hop out, the best thing to do is to eject. So double tapping V will, even though you don't see it in your scroll wheel anymore, double tapping V will eject you from the vehicle, and that way I can get out while still
Begin running. Then, oh, somebody got out.
Cool. Just checking.
Okay.
So that way, for me right now, just so that I can let you get into the driver's seat, because that's the only way we can switch with all 4 seats filled, I'm going to hop out. You can just transition inside the vehicle to the driver's seat, and then I'll hop back in.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So. Feeling good? Nope.
Sorry, jumped the gun.
Hang on, say go. Here, pull it back up to the line. Alright. Cool. So, momentum, just go smooth. Alright?
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Left turn.
Nope. You follow this road. Follow. So at the end you'll see a signboard starting to direct you to the left. However, you want to stay a little bit wide for the ramp so that you can line up for them well. Keep going, go. No. Follow the road. There you go. That speed up. An angle left. Line it up. Stay wide for these humps. You'll have to make a tight turn here, so stay wide. You're as tight as you can be right now. Wrong place. Turn left hard. See? If you had stayed wide for it, then you would have been able to make that turn radius. Speed, momentum, those are all why this course is here.
I was looking the wrong way for the turn.
Watch the signboards. The signboards will tell you which way to go. If they don't tell you to go a certain way, then you stay straight on whatever track you're on. Then to the right, over that obstacle. Keep that speed up. The chicanes. This is all power off turning. This is the one place where you shouldn't be speeding up. Now we're back to speed. Crank right, right. Cool. The left, and crank it. Speed. Not be letting off anywhere in there. Bearing to the right here. Follow left into the water obstacle. Left. Follow the signboards to the left. you line yourself up here. That's definitely not the lineup.
Shit.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Look
shit.
at 'em. I think probably everybody's broken here, so I'll fix that.
I'm good.
Sorry.
Gotta look at where you're going.
I kind of got tunnel vision when we were coming up to the last obstacle.
Yeah. I noticed that with a few things where it was you were a little bit focused on 5 feet in front of you rather than like you should be looking about 100 feet in front of you and seeing what's coming up next, because that way you'll actually be lined up for it, and that way you'll be thinking less in terms of, oh, how do I slow down to navigate these next few inches. You'll be thinking, how do I keep power up to maintain momentum for the next thing that I need to get to? Because that's what you're going to need to be doing as a driver operationally. You're going to need to be scanning ahead and figuring out, where the fuck can I go? Where's a good firing position? Where's a good movement location? How can I get where I'm going with the minimum of fuckery? All right? Let's run you again.
Spool.
Spooling.
And driver turnout, please. Let me know when the track's up.
Engine's ready.
Cool. Alright, pull it forward back to the line again, please. Alright, and remember, this time, look ahead. Stay comfy with where you are, but look ahead to where you're going, because that's most important. And power, power, power until you need to take it off. Alright?
Ready.
Cool. Whenever you're ready. Woo! Hang on, let's not do that. Go back to the start here. Gotta have control with the power. There is a little tendency to oversteer that'll happen. Just make sure that your corrections are appropriate and not over the top. Go right. Go right. Don't hit the sign. Alright, and reset for the start gate. Alright. Smoothness with the power this time, okay?
Okay.
Whenever you're ready. Remember to stay wide for the hairpin left. Nope.
Okay.
Wrong. Sharp turn left now.
I don't know why those look like they're pointing the other way to me. It's just my vision.
Power off turning, power off turning, power off turning, what I keep saying. Just turning. Once you get a little momentum going, all you need to do is just pull the outside track around just by turning it. There you go, just like that. Watch out for oversteer. Crank right. Crank left. Very good. Keep it going. No reason to lose momentum. Better stick with it. Stick with it. Alright, we made it.
Whew.
Oh, there's a big hole here. Move it laterally, get it laterally out of this. The tracks in the hull to push the thing off the rocks to the left.
Trying. Come on.
You follow the track. Okay. If you would, that furthest to the left from our perspective bay, if you would spin this thing around and park it in that bay. Back it up more. Got another like 10 feet behind you. Alright, cool. And if you would, spool down and turn back in and disembark.
I don't know why I turned it back on.
How was it?
So, a couple things to work on there. I think fairly obviously that was not a qualifying time. There's three main things that I was noticing. One, route memorization for known routes. We went through that a couple times. I did drive you through it, and then you went through various amounts of it. But there were still things where you were getting caught unawares of where you were going after like the third or fourth time going through it. Work on that. Practice these. Practice this in the AAV driver's course, and get some of that memorization skill going so that you can get that in your head and get those juices flowing. Second, looking ahead is still an issue. You got to look at where you're going to be, where you're going to want to be, and how to get there. How to navigate a turn most effectively so that you can do it in the least circuitous way possible, the most direct way that will help you get anywhere you're going a lot faster. It's very important when we're trying to avoid fire or try to put fire on something without getting hit by it. And third, and probably most importantly, I think there's like a nerves thing going on there where you
Big
have
time.
a very strong tendency to want to oversteer, really want to overcorrect things. So every time you go to do like a 5-degree correction to the left, you're doing like a 25-degree correction to the left, and then the correction back ends up being a 45-degree correction to the right, and it becomes a self-oscillating thing. It's the same problem that pilots have when they're new and they're not sure how to do things comfortably and smoothly, so all the motions are very jerky and involve a lot of overcorrection. Just practice this course, practice the AAV driver's course. I think based on this, I don't want to do the AAV driver's course again with you right now. I'd rather you go and run through that a couple times, get yourself comfortable with it, and when you think, yeah, I can pull a qualifying time with this, then you're come back and say, hey, one of you MOS instructors come along with me and we'll get a time down for it. Okay?
Roger that. Quick question.
Yes.
How would I go about practicing on this course in my own time? Is this part of Hebontis itself, or did you build this?
This server is up all the time.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if I was able to go in by myself or if it had to be like
Yeah.
something loaded.
Yeah, this mission has it in the mission. All of this set up exactly the way it is, and the course document for the MOS document for us, the 310G, that has a little depiction of this route on there. Plus, you can go through it. You see all the signs as you go through, and you'll get used to where it is.
Roger that. Yeah, I definitely need practice driving.
Yeah, you'll get there though. I have confidence it'll, once you do, then you can get with one of us and we'll square you away.
Roger that.
All right. Now, gunnery. How we looking?
First range is all set up. Second range is all set up too. The
Awesome.
live fire one also. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. Burton, we're going to range 6.
Range 6.
Still over there?
There's one. Actually there.
I meant Exley. I don't know why I said Burton. Hopefully he gets here too. Burton wasn't there. Where the fuck did he get to?
he responds. I think something was messed up for him. So you should.
Oh. Alright, cool. Exley, if you would get in as the gunner, and I will get in as your driver. Let's make sure that we have Burton in here as well as our student instructor.
Coming. Let's go to the right.
Exley, are you unable to get in?
On this side.
Pro tip, if you're on the wrong side, you need to get in quickly. Use ace interact on the vehicle, get in to the seat.
Learn something new every day.
It's helpful if you need to get in on the right and there's a lot of fire on the right. That's a very helpful thing. All right. Nelson, did you do any vehicle ID with him previously? Oh no, fuck, Nelson's not.
We did
Nelson,
very
come here.
briefly, yeah, he did go over them with me, but I definitely need refreshers.
Did you do the light armor ID with the AAV segment?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And if you would... Never mind, I am seeing now a couple targets out there on the range, not very many though. Okay, the things that aren't tanks, you can probably afford to do that with. Okay, so looking at the tanks that are in front of us, I'll just real quick consider.
He got out.
How'd I get out?
He's back in.
Okay. With the tanks that are in front of us to the right, the important thing to note is that the model number is not necessarily indicative of the actual strength of it as an armor piece, because a lot of older tanks like the T-72 have been upgraded and re-upgraded many times until now the newer T-72s are way better than the original T-80s or something like that. So just so you're aware, thing all the way to the left that looks like it's from World War II is the T-55. That's very old and there's not really many upgrade packages to that or anything. That was just sort of as it was. However, ArmA really likes making those impossible to damage, which is interesting. Just to the right of that, if you see that sort of squashed, slightly squared off turret shape, that's the T-72. That one is the original T-72 Alpha Edition. And that it's very basic. I mean, it's 70s era technology in it. It's not super great at really anything. However, just to the right is well, we have a couple T-72s here. To the right, the two to the right of that are both T-72 upgrade models. the T-72BE on the furthest right. That one, not all the way furthest right. But this is just not the... How did we... Okay, this is all fucked up anyway, so I'm just going to lose all these. Important thing is... what the fuck? Why did everything just get added to Zeus? Nelson, what are you doing? Hang on, let me just... I'm having a moment. I need to sort myself out here real quick. Okay, that's key. Okay, sorry. Let me start that bit again. So T-72, the original one, that camo one, very, very little super good about it. It's a basic bitch-ass tank. Just to the right of that, though, with all those bricks on it and the machine gun pointing up towards the rear, that is the much upgraded T-72B3. That's only about 4 years old in its as a development stage, and it has a lot of that explosive reactive armor on it, has much upgraded electronics in it, and it's actually a fairly formidable opponent, despite the fact that it's built on that same old chassis. Just to the right of that is the original T-80. You can see that it's got a different turret shape. That's normally how I identify the difference. It's less squared off, more like a squished Hershey's Kiss kind of thing on the T-80. And the original one, again, has no real reactive armor to speak of, and is a fairly basic bitch tank with some slight upgrades over the T-72. To the right of that, though, with, again, a commander's weapons station gun pointed up in the air, that is the T-80UM, which, again, is a much newer, upgraded version of it. You can see it has explosive reactive armor bricks all over it. It has much upgraded optics and sensors, electronics in it, so it is a much more formidable opponent than the original T-80, and is right pretty much on par with the new T-72s that I was just talking about. To the right of that again, that's a T-90, in this case the T-90SA. You can see that's got a much more angular basic turret shape, even underneath the reactive armor. It's got some slat armor towards the rear as well to protect against RPG fire towards the engine, and everything that's slightly otherwise less armored back there. And this has very significant electronics, sensors, systems in it, and is a very, very formidable opponent. We typically don't see these because they're not really out in the third world very much, but against Russia, these are the sorts of things that we would actually be seeing. And they are a match to, or more than a match to, our own M1A1. To the right of that again, on the pavement, is the T-14, which is the newest Russian tank, follows a completely different philosophy of how to do tanks from them. It's much more systems-oriented, electronics-oriented, and it's something that we cannot realistically fight in ArmA because it has an active protection system that is 100% effective until it runs out of ammo. So it's actually until you've shot enough shots at it that it no longer has any active protection systems available to it. Shots of that, I guess. Until that happens, it's impossible to actually hit it with a round. So that's basically it for tanks. The general concept is that if it's a T-72, that doesn't make it any less dangerous than a T-80 if it's of a newer variety. Pick these guys out there somewhere, and there's still not enough fucking targets. Irritating. Okay, anyway, weapon systems for your use. Or for anybody who's using the tank. So the M1A1 has multiple weapon systems available to various seats. As is obviously evident, the loader seat, if they turn out, has a basic pintle-mounted M240 machine gun. You can still hear me, right? Like,
Yeah, I hear you.
all right, cool.
Everything was really quiet
What the heck?
for a second. Did he just get out again?
Yep. He's
What?
in.
Are you having trouble there?
I guess I must be. I have no idea why that happened.
Do you keep hitting V or double V?
Don't think I must have.
Yeah, V is get out and double V is eject. So,
Is there a reason night vision won't cycle when I'm looking through the gunner scope?
yes, I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so back to weapons. Loader seat has a 240 pintle mounted up, which has an arc of fire from front to left, and is not too useful unless you just kind of need that extra firepower for close protection of the tank. Much nicer is the commander's weapon station. It's the SCWS, the Stabilized Commander's Weapon Station, and that is a very cool device in that it's like a low profile, ultra awesome Crow's turret. It is remotely operated from the turned in position, and it has 3 sets of optics to it to go with that M2 machine gun. It would normally also have, in the rear world, a far target locator, so we'd be able to point at a location and it would tell us the grid. But that's sadly not something that ArmA emulates, which sucks. If you happened to be in the TC seat and you were going to use that, the basic sight picture that you get for the first few levels of zoom, like as you start zooming through it, is that is the day and thermal sight, and allows you to cycle between those modes using your night vision key on the weapon station. If you zoom in again past that point, then you get to the backup sight, which is the prism sight underneath the weapon. That is basically for point shooting at close range or by tracer fire. Includes no zoom, includes no other optical ways of doing things. It's just a backup sight, essentially. And the because sometimes the main optic, that thermal optic, will get shattered. Takes around. And to the right in the support post for the weapon is actually the third sight. So if you zoomed in even further, then you would be in that third optic, and that is a combination day and true night vision sight. Importantly, that sight is the only optic on the tank that is able to see in true night vision rather than thermal. That's important because IR strobes, IR flares, and weapon lasers, anything like that that's typically used to mark friendly positions via infrared illumination, will not be visible in thermal at all. So the TC from that seat in that optic all the way zoomed through to that is the only seat that can verify ID of friendly forces by IR illumination. And as for you, as the gunner, you have 2 weapons available to you that are breech locked together in the same block of metal on the front of the tank. One is an M240 coaxial machine gun, and the other is the M256 120mm smoothbore cannon. The coax is just your regular 240. The 256 has 3 round types to it. I'll talk about using the weapon in a second, but I'll talk about round types first. So the 3 round types that we have, in order from least penetrative to most penetrative, are M1147 high explosive fragmentation, which is called out as HE in fire calls. So if somebody says load HE, that's what they're talking about. And that is designed for use against area targets like clusters of infantry or light buildings or light vehicles. Anything that is unarmored, doesn't need anything penetrating it, but can be dealt a lot of damage with concussive damage or shrapnel, the HE round is perfectly good for that. It's just a basic bit shell like you would imagine, with an explosive filler and a casing that's designed to go fucking everywhere when it explodes. Next up, in more penetrative capacity, is M830 MPAT, multi-purpose anti-tank. It's called out as MPAT in fire calls, so load MPAT means loading this, and that is sort of the intermediate penetrative round. It's an advancement from a basic high explosive shell to a shaped charge penetrative shell, so it's truly a heat round in that it has a penetrative tip on it that's a hardened material, and then behind that, the explosive filler is not designed to fragment outwards, but is designed to produce a jet of molten metal going forwards. So it begins to breach armor through straight kinetic penetration, and then the jet of metal gets to squirt through the opening that creates and rain all sorts of havoc inside. That is useful against lightly to medium armored vehicles, anything like BTRs up to BMPs. It will work against, it's very good against things like helicopters, anything that is lightly armored. But though it has an explosive filler, you're going to notice it has almost no effect against infantry unless you directly hit them, or very nearly, because it's not fragmenting outwards, it's producing that shaped charge effect forwards. And the most penetrative round that we have is M829 Sabo, armor piercing APFSDS is what you'll see in the scroll menu, which is armor piercing, fin stabilized, discarding Sabo, and that is just, it's a plastic Sabo container holding it in the barrel, and it is a tungsten and depleted uranium dart. It has no explosive filler whatsoever. It is simply a very, very hard, somewhat heavy object that is going extraordinarily fucking fast, and its job is to just keep going fast until it can't. And hopefully can't happens on the other side or inside the tank that you're aiming at. Its job is to penetrate very heavy armor. It's good against main battle tanks and anything down to like a BMP, but things that are lighter than that, if you hit a truck, depending on how ArmA models it, sometimes that can be shaky. Some trucks, it'll just explode because it's like, oh, catastrophic damage. But if modeled correctly, which some are, there's a possibility that if you hit a lighter target, you'll literally pass through it without doing any damage because you just like went through the canvas of the back or something like that. Because it's really not an explosive shell in any capacity. Make sense?
Yep.
Note with that, HE is a big fat slow shell. MPAT is kind of fast, and Sabo is really fucking fast. Bear in mind that gravity acts on things over time, not over distance. So that means that the faster thing is going to have a much flatter flight profile. This is going to be very important when we're talking about ranging. Now, using the weapon. For optics and optic modes, your first 2 or 3 levels of zoom are day sight only. If you zoom past that, then it sort of backs out your magnification a bit, and you're into thermal optic mode. And you can switch that between white hot and black hot, but you can't switch it out of thermal. That is a thermal only imager. From that point forward, and you have a hell of a lot of zoom with that, but it's definitely not a day sight all the way through. So does that answer your question about how to navigate light picture?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. So for ranging with this thing, which is a blessedly easier thing than with the AAV, it normally operates with the semi-automatic ranging system that you would activate with your, by default, T key, the range target or laze target key. And you'd be able to point at anything above the minimum range, which is like 160, 170 meters. Anything beyond that, you should be able to point your turret at and range on it. And you should see it actually showing a number at the bottom of your screen. So just do that for me and verify that that's actually functioning. Should see things other than zeros at the on the reticle number at the bottom. And you've got to be aiming at something that's at least like 180, 200 meters away.
I'm looking at that range number 7 tower. You think that'll be far enough?
Ah, yeah, certainly. Did that range for you?
No, neither T or R are working.
Okay, hit escape, go to configure, then controls.
I'm there.
And then under the...
Weapons.
Thank you. Yes, under weapons, you should see lays range most of the way down.
Yeah, I have it set to T.
Okay. Do you have anything else set to T, like radio stuff or anything like that?
Looking at weapons, I'm showing lock target and reveal target are both T.
Yeah, I'm not talking about on there. Like if you know that there's anything else that you specifically bound to that to
No,
could
negative.
cause a conflict. Okay. Then
What
either-
zoom level are you in?
that doesn't matter.
It does for me sometimes.
I'm in just regular day sight, zoomed in one.
Should be good.
Like it worked when I've used that binding works for the Vector 21 Night and stuff, but I don't know why it's not working for me now.
Try using add another keybind in there, something that you can use, just so that we can get this rolling.
Headsaw had this problem the other day. I think his solution was to delete the keybind and rebound it.
Okay,
All right.
that might be a good idea then.
I'm gonna try it again. Still nothing. I changed it to a different key. It still doesn't work.
Okay, that's interesting. We'll have to figure that out at some point, but I think now is probably not the time. So you'll get some practice with the interesting way of doing things. I mean, unless you can figure out a way to do it while I'm talking, but I don't know what's going on there. Somewhere you have a conflict or something.
I'll have to just go through them one by one because I can't even find it looking for it.
Okay, I don't know why that's not happening. That's irritating. Fuck. Okay, anyway, so notionally, if you're using the if you're using semi-automatic ranging like that, two things happen when you do that. Well, a couple things happen in sequence. The FCS looks at what round is loaded or weapon is selected, whether it's coax or main cannon, whether it's MPAT, Sabo, HE, and it does calculations based on whatever's selected at the moment that you range something. When it takes that into account, you touch the button, and it elevates the gun so that that round will drop onto the target at that range and should meet your reticle at that range. It also, the other thing that it does, if you notice on the turret, the barrel's directly in the front in the center. Where you are looking at the target from is not there. You are looking at the target from the box with the doors on the front of it that's just above the barrel and to the right of it on the top of the turret, like underneath the commander's machine gun. That is your sight unit. So there's a bit of a parallax effect where the round is always going to be a little bit left and down of where you're aiming if you haven't ranged it. So you're going to notice that as you're firing now, since your range stuff isn't working, you're going to be getting the Kentucky effect, and you're going to have consistent parallax, which in a way is kind of easier, because with consistent parallax, you always know, no matter where your round impact is going to be a little bit to the left, like 4 or 5 feet to the left and a foot or two low. That's just always going to be the case. With the ranging system, if you range a target, it will lay the gun for elevation, and it will also correct the sight to the side a little bit to match with where that round is coming up and from the left. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like your eyes focusing on a distant point. They're actually pointed inwards a little bit towards each other to make that happen. It's the same thing between the barrel and the sight unit. This is very important because say that you range something that's really close, where you think you're like, I want to zero out the range, and you try to zero it by aiming at something at minimum range. You have not zeroed out the range. Instead, you have specifically aimed it at something that's only 150 meters away or something like that. And that means that the barrel will be laid flat for that. So that'll be good. But your sight unit is going to be pointed all the way the fuck to the left to match that focal point at 150 something meters. So if you then think, okay, I've zeroed out the range, now I'm going to Kentucky aim at something far away and just like do a quick adjust on it, you're actually going to be shooting cross-eyed, and your round is going to pass through that focal point at 100 something meters, and whatever target you're shooting at, like 2 kilometers away, is going to get missed because that round is going to travel from the left to the right through your sight picture because you've shot cross-eyed. So that's an effect to be aware of, and we'll talk about truly zeroing out range in a second. The other thing that's important with ranging is to ensure that you range, if you're doing automatic ranging, range for the weapon that you are going to be using. If you're going to range for the main cannon with Sabo, make sure that that's what you're going to fire, because it's going to be different. The round flight path is going to be different. So like the 240 is going to have a lot of drop to it over 2 kilometers. So if you range while you're selected on the 240 and you fire a couple bursts, yeah, they're going to be on target. And then you just go, hey, all right, I see something there that needs a main cannon round. So you would switch to main cannon with Sabo, and without re-ranging, you just fire. That round is going to go really, really high because you were ranged for the 240's round flight path. Those two are in the same piece of metal. They maneuver together when they get laid by the SCS. So make sure if you switch round types, or if you switch between coax and main cannon, and you're doing automatic ranging, make sure that you re-range.
Copy.
Cool. Now, for truly zeroing out the range, and for another cool tidbit, there's a fire control system panel in this vehicle. So if you hit your B, Bravo key, that should bring up the FCS panel.
Cool.
Yeah. So a couple things with this. You'll see on the right side of it, there's a column of buttons. The bottom one should say range. If you depress that, it should illuminate red.
Yep.
Okay. For you to actually dump range on this thing, if you really wanted to truly zero it out so you're back to the way you are right now with parallax, like the round is just going straight parallel to the sight unit, you would just hit the clear. You would illuminate range like that, and then you hit the clear button on that FCS, and that would dump out the range. You'd see it go back to zeros. You're already at that state, so you wouldn't notice that. However, the other thing that you can do with this system is you can manually set a range. So you can illuminate range, you can type in, say you have somebody outside the track around a corner who's like, yeah, we're going to need to hit this tank. I know you can't see it just yet, but when you come around the corner, it's going to be 240 degrees, and it's going to be 800 meters out. You can type in 800 and enter that into the FCS on that keypad, and that will pre-range your system for whatever round you have selected and whatever weapon you have selected at that range, which is really, really helpful if you have somebody feeding you information like that, because then you can come out from hiding and do like a 2-second exposure shot where you are like barely out in the world at all. You don't even need to range the target. You already know where it is, which is kind of a handy trick. Understand?
Yes, I do.
Cool. Great. But for now, you're on Kentucky land, so we'll get you used to that as it is. You have your various round types and your 2 weapons available to you as a gunner. You have some targets out there. Get used to a couple of them, fire off a few rounds, and when it looks like you're a little more comfortable, then we'll talk about fire calls. Okay?
Okay. How do you switch between rounds, like when you say, oh, load X round versus Y?
Scroll wheel. Copy.
Copy. Permission fire.
Yeah, you, for right now, you're free fire. Just loose off a couple rounds, get used to the coax and the main gun. Get comfy with it. But you're
Wow.
tagging dirt there.
I'm way right.
What are you aiming at?
I was aiming at the tank that's 284.
You're definitely not aimed at that physically. Like, you are way off there.
What about now?
No, you're like aimed
You're
at
looking
the.
about 300.
You're aimed at the alley.
So what do I do to correct it? Because my sight shows a tank dead center.
That's weird. Dump your range in your FCS. Just make sure that that's. I've had this happen like once before with somebody, but it was like a year ago.
All right, I just
I
did
don't know how that happened. Nope, you're still tagging dirt in the same place. What the
Yeah,
fuck is
still-
going on here?
Way right.
And
Yeah,
like if
you
I
are-
took a screenshot, my reticle is dead center on the turret.
That is so weird. Try getting out and getting back in. We may have to get another tank.
All right, back in. Let's try it again.
Just don't fire. Just tell me, are you still looking at it?
Yeah, dead center on the center of the tank.
Okay, that's fucking broken. I need to get you another tank.
Yeah, he's still
Is
right.
it just him or is it the tank?
Hopefully that'll fix it and it's not just you or something.
Actually, hop out real quick.
You're way right.
Yeah, this tank is fucking broken.
Uh,
Great.
Tank's broke.
I was gonna say I know I'm bad, but I'm not that bad.
It's all good. Maybe your range will work.
Fingers crossed.
Hold on, let him spin it. Might just have us do it. Okay, so we can get in.
Yeah, he's just his oven.
That may have had something to do with why you were unable.
Able to range things. So let's see if you're able to actually range a target. I'm still turned out. My bad.
Oh, good.
If you can range that range tower or something again.
Still nothing.
Nothing? Okay, look back at the tank. Yeah, that looks like you're on target now. Cool. Okay, you can ping out a few rounds there.
There we go.
Hey, alright, that's looking a lot better now. Range.
Hit the wall just below it.
Up here a little bit. Nice. Oh, that round went off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Okay, now, fire calls. So, for tank fire control, it is imperative, because of the destructive capabilities of this weapon, that there is effective communication between the TC and the gunner at all times. The TC, in the real world, would have a very nice ability with his paddles up top, where he would be able to literally just push a button and force slew your turret around to point directly at the target that he's looking at. We don't have that in ArmA, so we have to do things kind of they do things with fire calls anyway because the procedure is good and it ensures correct target identification and processing. But we have to do it this way. We don't have any additional tools to use with this. So you would have learned in recruit training the ADREC concept of giving, alert, direction, distance, etc., to tell people where a target is and how to engage it. The fire call is just a simple evolution of that for use within a tank. So it's always going to start with gunner, if done properly. It gets forgotten in the heat of the moment sometimes. Should always start with gunner to alert you that you are the person being talked to by the TC. Then the TC is going to tell you the round type to select. That should come next because that may involve a reload. And in that case, it's worth getting that process started early. Though sometimes these things do happen out of order, that's the way that should go. So it should be alert to you as the gunner, then the round type, then, the direction of the target and the type of the target. So for me to give a whole alert to you, I might say something like, gunner, Sabo, tank, 298. And then you would slew around, you'd look for a tank at about 298 degrees, or whatever I've just described. When you find it, if you believe you have found the correct target, the pro word to use is identified. That will let me know that you believe you have found the correct target. That way I can look at your camera and I can look at where you're pointing with your turret, and I can make sure that you appear to be looking at the same thing that I am.
Okay.
Once I hear, and I'm not going to give you a fire clearance until I hear identified from you. I don't know that you've actually found it until that actually occurs. With a full fire call like this, once I get identified from you, then I can give you the clearance to fire, which should always be the word fire, very clearly. Anything else? Typical good practice from a gunner is say on the way when the round's going out the barrel. Then the weapon, we can't manually reload these. They automatically reload as soon as you fire. So your gun is down when you fire. You don't need to say it. It's obvious from the fact that you just sent a round out the barrel. However, I may not know when it's actually reloaded, so a gunner will always watch to make sure that the gun's coming back up, and when the round has been reloaded and the gun is ready to fire again, then the gunner says gun up to let the TC know that they're ready to process another target. Okay?
Heard.
So, like so, we'll run it. Gunner. CMP 257, Sabo.
Identified.
Fire. Target.
Gun up.
Good. Okay. Great. And you heard me say target. That's part of the identification. Good TC, if they're looking or somebody's trying to look to help you out, TC should be doing it unless they're frantically looking for something else that's shooting you or something like that. They're going to try to gauge where your round went to help you out as the gunner in case you weren't able to see it. Target indicates that the round definitely struck the target. Doubtful is the term used when the round may have struck the target or may not have done very much damage to it. In fact, that seems to have acted like a doubtful, even though it was a pretty clean hit. But that's just how it gets called. So if you just glance something off a track, or maybe it hit it, maybe it hit the building in front of it, that might be a doubtful. You might hear left, right, up, down, depending on which which direction it missed. If the TC is able to see that, or if the TC has no idea where the fuck it went, even though he was looking in the correct direction, he might say lost. Those just help you understand where it is from there. Alright, so, gunner, tank, Sabo, 268.
Identified.
268. Track left to 268.
Identified.
Fire. Target. Ceasefire.
Guns up.
Didn't want to die. Gunner, repeat. Meaning fire again. Thank you. Target. Ceasefire.
Guns up.
Like, indestructible? It's freaking weird. Like, nothing's happening here. Are you firing, no, yeah, okay, you're firing Sabo. Interesting. Alright, so, yeah, okay. Gunner, truck, 288, coax.
I don't see it.
Be pretty far at 288, 289. Be 400 out, 500 out.
Identified.
Alright, fire coax. We'll lift it up, get it on target there. There you go. Coming up onto it. You're a little low. Get up on that engine block with the coax. Whoa, where are you?
There goes again.
I might hit page up by mistake, sorry.
You are broken again. Are you looking at the truck now?
Yep.
Oh my fucking god. Are you able to like hit page down again or whatever? You're way off.
Yeah, I went even to the little clear button thing and did that too.
Fuck! This is really fucking aggravating. Let me get another tank. I guess don't hit page up.
ArmA, it's a great game.
I have no idea why this is happening this way. Like,
Yeah.
I've never run into this. I haven't run into this problem in years, and suddenly it's here to stay.
Hey, can I fire out of a burst just to see if it fixed itself?
I've moved you to this tank.
Okay, don't hit page up,
Copy.
because obviously that's doing something completely unexpected and unpleasant. So we're going to start driving around this range a little bit and engaging while we're moving. Thankfully this thing is stabilized, so it's not going to be as painful as the AAV with moving. There's fucking rabbits everywhere. Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Gunner, BTR 244, Sabo.
Identify.
Fire.
I messed up. Sorry.
Gunner, BTR 209, Sabo. Right to left as we move, now 200.
Eyes on.
What was the word?
Identified, sorry.
Fire. Doubtful.
You're low.
Remember your parallax. Gunner, repeat. Target, cease fire.
Gunner.
Tank 265, left to right as we move, Sabo. 275.
Identified.
Wrong target. Go left. 285. No, not that one. It's not super close. Hey, oh, okay. Never mind. We're losing that one. That's fine. Gunner. Tank. 290. Sabo.
Identified.
Fire.
Target.
Doubtful. That looked like a track on it. Gunner, repeat. Target, cease fire. Gunner, truck 325, MPAT. Could be looking for it already, even though you're changing your route. 345.
Eyes on. Identified.
When ready, fire. Doubtful. Gunner, repeat. Target, cease fire. Gunner, load Sabo. Echo that back to me when I give you a load command.
Load Sabo.
Cool, awesome. That way I know that you've heard it and we're actually reloading the correct round, because it gets noisy as fuck in here when everything's happening.
Copy that.
Gunner, tank 090, Sabo.
Identified.
Fire.
Whoa!
Okay, that's interesting. Doubtful though. Repeat.
Guns up.
That's doubtful again. You were way low. Give him another one. There you go. Gunner, truck 045, coax.
Identified.
Fire coax. Alright, cease fire. Gunner, BTR 080, Sabo.
080 Sabo.
075, right to left as we move.
Identified.
Wrong target, BTR to the right of that.
Identified.
Fire. Target, cease fire. Gunner, BMP 130, Sabo. Now 135, left to right as we move.
Identified.
Fire. Doubtful. Repeat. Doubtful. Hit dirt underneath. Repeat. Disregard. Apparently that caught it in a weird way. Interesting. Get a couple more here. Gunner, tank 260, left to right as we move. Sabo.
260 Sabo. Heard. Identified.
Fire.
Shit.
Low again, but target. Repeat. for your parallax. You're always going to be a little left and a little low where you think you are. Switch target, tank, 322, Sabo. Now 325.
Identified.
Fire. Low again. Repeat. Target. Beautiful shot. Ceasefire. Gunner, tank, 280, right to left as we move. Sabo. 280. Rotate left, 180. Got a long way to go. Now 260.
Repeat target.
I say again, not repeat. I say again, 260 tank.
Identified.
Fire. Repeat is only used for fire commands. Repeat means send the round again. Does not mean say what you just said.
Copy. Sorry
Ever.
about that.
Center load MPAT.
Loading MPAT. MPAT loaded.
No, the gun is not up. The MPAT is not loaded, it's still loading. You would call gun up when it's actually up again.
Gun up.
Alright. Gunner MPAT BTR 209, right to left as we move. 200. 190.
Identified.
Fire. Doubtful. Repeat. Target. Ceasefire. Alright. Make our way back out of here as we go. Gunner, truck, 130, coax, left to right as we move.
Identified.
Fire coax. Movement kill, ceasefire. Shot, took out the engine. Gunner, tank, 105, Sabo.
105 safe. Identified.
Fire. Try again. There you go. That's good. Ceasefire. Gunner, BRDM 080, right to left as we move. Sabo.
Identified.
Fire. Target, ceasefire. Locking you in place. Nice. Got better as we went.
I'm gonna have to totally retrain myself on radio procedure because for years I worked for a police dispatch and we say things a certain way, so my mental training kicked in. I apologize.
Like the word repeat.
That's another big one for us. We use repeat all the time.
Trust me, I've been there. Oh, fuck. Yes, dismount. I just forgot to turn the engine off.
Alright. So I think we're going to be good to go for the next range as well. It's going to be range 8. Got it?
Yep.
Cool. Alright, I'll get in as driver again, Exley, if you'll get in as gunner, and Burton, you can PC for us.
Okay.
And Moffat can be our star man of the hour loader.
You know it. Most important role.
He does the job of free AI. Gonna lock in until we're out of the enclosure here. Right, so this is going to be an evolution of the same thing, where we are going to be on a hot range here, So interesting. How are we looking? Ah, see, convincing, realistic situation. Thank you very much. Alright, so I'm going to unlock you here. Once we're through this area, armed targets not positively identified as friendly are hostile, okay? This will be a hot range, so we will potentially get shot at by things. Let's make sure that we're paying attention to what we're doing, though, and still operating under fire commands. I will be acting as your TC, though I'm in the driver's seat for fire control, so I will be giving you fire commands for things. However, Burton may also call something out, and if you get a chance to find that target, that's great. You can identify that target. I will give you the fire command to actually fire, though, okay?
Copy that.
Similarly, if you see something, call it out the same way. If you see that something might be a good target, you know, say you see a truck rolling along, just call out truck 290, and I'll take a look at it and see if it's something we want to hit. Okay?
Copy that.
And that way you can avoid having to say, you know, if you see it, then obviously you avoid having to say identified because you've already found it. Now it's just me catching up with you. And when I find the target, then I can give you your fire command.
Understood.
Alright. Scan along west to southwest and see if there's anything out there that looks like it's of interest. Okay, nothing. Alright. Note as we go here also that me, as the driver, I'm doing what I can to keep the track protected at all times, especially the actual tracks. I want to make sure that nothing has the ability to fire at them whenever possible so that we don't lose our ability to maneuver. I'm basically moving when I can't get in cover and staying in cover when I have the opportunity to do so. Gunner, looks like a bunker about 195. I'm going to push around this rock and then you'll see it. Be ready at 195 with coax.
Coax ready.
Alright. Yeah, bunker at 195. If you see anything in there, light it up with coax. There's a guy to the left of that checkpoint as well. See these
Identify.
guys firing at us? Yeah, you're good with the coax. Just light them up. Coax, we're a little bit... You're hitting dirt well below them. Now you're on them. There you go. Push us forward a little bit, see if you can see some other guys around there. There's a guy...
Somebody on machine gun.
Okay, good work. Angle right 10 degrees. There's a guy right behind the concrete slab there. He's going to pop up again, I think. Second.
Can we penetrate this wall?
Not with the 240, no. That's a huge concrete block.
Whoa.
So that's not happening. That's alright. That's something light. Just keep looking at that block.
Copy.
Load HE. Okay, never mind. Go back to coax. These guys come out at us. Light them up. Alright, cool. Angle left here. Yeah, what was I just seeing over there? Yeah, load HE.
Loading HE. Guns up.
Alright, gunner, truck, 215 HE. You may be able to see it over the hill. Just a little bit. You see that?
Negative eyes.
Okay, never mind then. Load Sabo again. I don't want to have us sitting without Sabo in the barrel.
Loading Sable.
Thank you. Alright, I'm going to move around this a little bit. Scan out into the valley, south to west, and see if anything is out there. Track vehicle, 255 left to right. It's now in the defilade, but we'll come back to that in a second. You also have troops, 257 far, if you get up with coax on them. That would
Identified.
be good. Coax. Fire. We got a light track vehicle, yeah, go back to your main cannon, 250, light track vehicle left to right.
Identified.
Fire. Target, ceasefire. Alright. So we've engaged for a minute from here. I'm going to move us. I don't want us sitting in one place for too long. So just food for thought if you're in that kind of position. Whoa, vehicle from the left. BTR 195. Sabo.
Identified.
Fire. Target. Kind of doubtful though. I think he hit a wheel. Gonna have to give that another one in a second.
Guns
Repeat.
up.
Doubtful. Repeat.
Guns up.
Repeat.
That's dead sighting.
That was weird.
Guns up.
Try again. Alright, finally a movement kill. Mop up with coax.
Up and right. Target on that one. Target.
Burton, if you want to help with those mop ups with the SCWS, you're welcome to.
Okay, cool.
Mop it too if you're feeling adventurous and we're not getting shot at too much. Up to you.
Okay.
Just have that moment when you just get the little in the dome. Alright, so we're going to reposition around the enemy here because I don't want to be in one place slogging it out with him. Tank front, 255, Sabo.
Identified.
Fire. No.
Hello.
Whoa. Be ready. I'm going to pull us back.
Guns up.
Okay, we're going to go up this hill a little bit and we'll come at it just over the top of the hill. Be ready at that bearing.
He's moving to the left. He'll be to the left of the hill now. 245.
245. Right to left. Keep going left. 240. 230. 220.
Identified.
Fire.
Hit the rock.
Parallax.
Guns up.
Okay, pushing up. Ah, fucking. Landed on that tree.
In that same spot.
Fire. Okay, we've got a loader in. We'll be quicker than him. Repeat. Why is this taking so long?
Guns up.
Wait, what round type do you have selected right now?
M256 Alpha 1.
No, that's the weapon.
Scroll down. What do you see in the list? He's catastrophic.
Okay, so you, maybe Sabo, maybe MPAT. I don't know what happened to our MPATs. We had MPATs, but I think we may have fired them when we thought we were firing Sabo. Not sure how that happened.
I must have just loaded the wrong one, I guess.
Take care with that, because that's going to mean life or death fairly frequently.
The Sabo round is the one that's like SDSL or something like that, right?
APFSDS.
Is Sabo?
Yes, that is Sabo. M829. M830 is MPAT. That's the lighter one. Truck 240 unknown. Can you identify that?
Oh, it just went behind the rocks.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
It almost looked like an MRAP, but I don't think so.
It was one of those shitty old BTRs or something. I'll push up a little bit more here. Keep scanning. Keep scanning. Scan for targets.
Vehicle
Infantry
243.
250. Okay, vehicle roger. Fuck is it?
BTR?
Yeah, okay.
And infantry.
Current round fire. Target. Cease fire that. Coax infantry to the right fire. Gunner, tank, far, 245, 245, Sabo.
Identify.
Fire! Oh. Close, little low, repeat. I don't think it's looking at us yet. Let me know if it does.
He's behind the rocks.
I don't really want to go out there right now. Maybe I do. Sure.
Yeah,
He's right to left.
230. Behind the rock.
Yeah, he went behind a rock again. Come on, fucker. Alright, we're gonna go play.
227 far. I got something out there.
Alright, we'll get to that in a minute. PC, can you mop up the infantry to the right at 250 while we clear around here so that the gunner can keep focus on the tank? Thank you.
Vehicle moving in the field.
I got it,
230.
don't worry about that. That's a light vehicle. We're gonna look for this tank. Fucking tank, where'd it go? Anybody see it? Hey, that was from behind us.
Yeah, it's like 105. I just saw the fucking...
Tank!
Yeah,
099! Be ready, 099.
099.
Okay, pushing forward.
102.
Got it?
No eyes. Oh,
100.
identified.
Fire! Oh,
Guns
gun's
down.
down. Great. Make sure the gunner's not injured.
I'm alive.
Checking him. Yeah,
Okay.
he's good.
When the turret goes down, does the 240 go down too?
That's your entire gun assembly that just got knocked out. So that whole breach assembly is inoperative right now. Alright, we're gonna pull behind here real quick. And does anybody have a toolkit on them
Yeah,
right now?
I got you.
Get shot at again. I'm just gonna mask us from that. Moffat, if you could. PC, can you pop a smoke curtain?
Yep. Hello?
Not doing it.
No, my countermeasures in the TCC never frickin' work. Let's
Weird.
try. Hello. Countermeasures C.
Keep laying exhaust smoke.
We're good.
Alright. Gunner, how we doing? Good?
Good.
Okay. I can't see shit through the smoke, but start scanning to the right as I push forward a little bit. You may
It's
see
infantry
something
approaching.
077.
Infantry approaching 081. Single man in the field.
I got
That's fine. Gunner, be ready 077. You're gonna see a rock there right now, but be ready at 077.
Holding 077.
Tank there.
Identify.
Fire. Target. Repeat. Target. Repeat. Target. Okay, looks like we got a movement kill on it. They dismounted. Nice. We had another tank firing at us from about 100 degrees, somewhere over there. I'm going to back you up a little bit, driver. If you can look through the gap about 100 and 10 degrees left or right of that, see if there's anything there.
just get hit from? Driver dead? Driver?
Ooh, he's fucked up.
If you could just get him up so you can push this in. Because I can't fucking smoke this. Gunner, you up?
Negative.
Gunner's
He's down too. Fuck.
You get the driver up first.
Yeah, I'm on the driver. You get the gunner.
I'm bleeding, but I'm still up. Hagen, are you still up?
I'm good. I didn't even get hurt.
Gunner, you up?
Nope. What happened?
Okay, sorry. I've
Bird needs to be healed.
oh, did I not? Sorry. Let me get that.
No worries.
There we go. Okay.
I'm
Moffat,
good.
you all right?
Yeah, I didn't even get hurt.
Yeah, I got fucking meat splattered by that.
I almost had you back conscious.
What?
I almost had you conscious again.
I don't really have the time, unfortunately, because I got to get going soon. So we're gonna do our amphib run through real quick. That was pretty good though. You had some fluffy shots. I know it'll be better when you can get your range thing sorted out. We'll work on that at some point in the next, maybe tomorrow if we have a chance. For now, let's do our amphib run through real quick. So if you select on the sign here to go to the USS Barton. Hey, there he is. Okay, cool. So normally on here, when there's a whole task force full of people, we are really concerned about desync and problems with the ship. So when there's everybody on here, don't run, always walk on the deck. Since it's just us in here, the desync problem is going to be pretty minimal, so we can afford to not really worry about that. So come with me, and Exley, if you want to get in either as TC or Gunner, and Burton, you can get in as the other one. You're welcome to hop in the back if you want, Moffat. Get up in the back of me. Yay. All right, cool. So aboard ship, we're very cautious about moving the AVs or even having the engines on. We don't typically do it when there's any ground pounders floating around us. And if we do move around in the ship or around friendly areas where there's a lot of people bumping around, we typically have somebody walk outside the track as a ground guide to, did somebody just hop out?
I switched seats.
Oh, okay. We typically have somebody work as a ground guide to make sure that we're we're not having anybody like blundering out in front of us or something like that and turning into a crunchy. Aboard ship, we try to be very cautious about speed limits and movement in general, because this thing, weird things can happen, and you can end up like vibrating the thing against a wall and having the entire boat detonate, which will sometimes it'll like go up through the floors and kill everybody above you as well, which is